Hello and welcome to Work in Progress with Nicole Engelmann, the podcast where it's all about conversations, work in progress, and what it's like running your own business. Today I'm joined by Janette Wong, who is a transformational coach and community builder. Hi, Janette.
Hi, Nicole. Hi, everybody. So great to be here today.
Yes, it's lovely to that you join me for this. My second episode of the podcast. So exciting.
Exciting.
Yeah. So I guess starting out, like, tell me a little bit about what you do, how long have you been doing it, and why you're doing it?
So, hi, everybody. I am Janette Wong, and I am a clarity and transformational life coach. And I work specifically with high achieving women who are on that brink of transformation. They can see the vision, they can feel it, they know what the dream is, but somehow they're stuck and they just can't get to it, no matter what they try. So, what I do is actually help create a safe space to guide them through with the tools that I've got, with strategies, and also my personal experience and my community to help them along on that journey, and so that they can transition safely with clarity to the other side, because everyone deserves to live their dream life.
Oh, I love that. So what made you go into this? What is kind of your journey to today, I guess?
So, the very short answer would be I woke up one day and decided.
Oh, if it
It
was that easy.
happened. I was like, ta-da!
Stop.
The very long answer is in 2018, I was triggered into depression. And at that point, I basically couldn't do anything. I was in like the darker spaces. I felt really just lost with myself. And I had no, and I remember the question I asked myself many, many times every single day. And that was, what does happiness mean? I don't know what this means. I can't get the answer. And luckily for me, I had a group of friends who were super supportive, and they helped me get out of that. They helped me get out of that stage where I didn't even know who I was, to the point where I was like, maybe I can accept myself. And fast forward that to maybe 9 months, a year later, I managed to achieve my own dream and get to London, which I was like, yes, I finally made it. I was like born and bred a city girl. And then I moved to UK, to the countryside, or I consider countryside. And then I was like, I want to move to London. But it was something that was so scary for me. I couldn't do it. And when I achieved that dream, I thought, yes, this is it. This is like my breakthrough. My life is forever more happy. I would say maybe about 9 months later, halfway through COVID, I was like, okay, life is not where I want this to be. What is going on? I was back in my anxiety, my panic attacks. There was no one that I could talk to that was like, that could help me out. I started doing personal development at that point already, and I was really into it. I was like, I know all this stuff, but why can't I change my own life? Why am I in this situation? And it took quite a lot of work, personal self work, for me to get out of it. But one of the biggest things was about authenticity, and learning that authenticity, true authenticity, is not about not lying and being honest with people. True authenticity actually means being completely honest and true to myself. And that was the starting point of like a new phase in life. And when I realized that, I was like, actually, this is bringing me so much more benefits, and life was so much easier. I would love to share this with everyone in the world. And that's why I started my coaching business.
When did the community building start then?
So the community building actually, I mean, I've always been a very community person since after my depression days, because that was what they were the ones who held me like the rock that didn't leave. And without them recognizing, helping me recognize that I was in depression, without them like supporting me along the way and getting me to go to counseling, I wouldn't have got out of it. So I've always been wanting to do community things, but I didn't really know what it was called. Then my business coach at that time said, "You need to start going to networking." And I was like, "What does that mean? What does that do?" And I was like, "I have to sell myself? Like I have in 60 seconds?"
Mm. The elevator pitch, right?
Yes, and that was kind of like a bit of an anxiety for me. I'm someone who I can't do small talk. And to this day, I do a lot of networking, but small talk is not my strength. Um, and I think for me, that kind of helped me realize I need a community where, especially when I was kind of in between corporate world and being a business owner, I wanted some friends and I wanted some people to be like, I understand what you're talking about. And that's when the community idea actually started alongside with the volunteering stuff.
Mm. That's so true. I mean, my life has changed since I started doing networking, and it's like also, like you said, networking. Oh my God, and pitching yourself, and you're like, this is literally not my world. Like the whole kind of, um, like, hi, here I am, book me, and like I'm this awesome, and just the transactional thing is really not my thing. So I'm so glad I found so many different events where it's not like that, and where it's really more about community and building a network and making meaningful connections, which obviously that's how we met because I went to one of your events, I think back in October last year. And you haven't gotten rid of me since.
Yes, and I'm really grateful for that. And to be honest, like exactly like you said, I don't think we as women, or especially women, let me talk about women in general and all the women I've met, I haven't really seen that many women who have been like mega successful just going, here's my business card, this is what I do, bye next. It's all about who do you know rather than only what do you know. And I feel like when, especially women, we are like built to be in community, we're built to thrive in community. When we get to that stage and where we're in a space where we feel like we belong somewhere, where we feel like we're accepted just exactly as we are, whether we're quirky, whether we're cool, like, it doesn't matter what we do, what we show up as, how we want to show up. You're like, no, that's me, and we love you for it. And then that's where we really be able to shine our best and bring our light to the community and support each other and inspire each other.
Yeah, definitely. And I love that. It's like even the business events, the first hour, we don't even talk about what we do in business. And we're literally just, making connections and just talking about, I mean, I love the prompts that you're always using, but it's stuff like, oh, when was the last time you cried and why? Or what's something you're really proud of that's not business related? So I love that, it makes you think and it makes you go a bit deeper and you get to know people on a different level rather than just what they do and, what they want to sell or, what they want to get out of this.
Yeah, and I would love and I would love to actually share this with more and more people, especially if they're in business. In corporates, of course, you still need your friends. It's hard to make friends as an adult. I was like, no one taught me this. But then that's a completely different episode there. But actually just talking about, who are we as humans and how can we relate to each other on a human level? The business has come so naturally after that. Like whenever I feel like I'm wanting to do a photo shoot or I know someone, it's like, oh, immediately it's like Nicole, like straight away. I don't even need to think about it because you are in my community and you show up as you. So I know who you are. I know when I refer you, I can trust that you're going to deliver a really high standard rather than if I just happen to have a business card. It's like, well, I don't even know if you do stuff, but anyway, here you go. Try them.
Yeah, it's all about trust. And when you're already like, oh, this is, the person you need to go to because they're great and they're just a nice human being, and I can trust that, whatever they do as a business, because they're authentic as the person, they're authentic as the business as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've definitely had an experience in that where my coach, Lisa Nichols, she has like millions of followers. But when I speak to her, and she does this with every person, when we're speaking to her, even if it's like 2 minutes, in that moment, that is just us. And I think that's the perfect time, and that's the brilliance of it, because no matter how big you are able to scale your business, no matter how far you go, people will buy you because you are you and you are a human and you're authentic. And I think she really demonstrated that to me. So like literally I follow her like everywhere, and so does everyone within my community who we've all learned from her, because it's like she really sees us.
Yeah, that's so important. So in terms of your own business journey, have there been any challenges that um, you know have happened to you in your business that gave you either some clarity that you've overcome somehow, or that made you go into different directions?
Oh, so many different things. Um, I think the key one that comes into mind, and I think it keeps playing, like it has a massive part in playing what I do and how I do things, is actually that embodying the identity of an entrepreneur and a business owner. That is one thing. And then actually almost peeling back the definition and the expectations that we have alongside that comes with those two identities, peeling those back into understanding who I am truly as a human being and who I want to be, who I want to become, is something that has played a massive role in how I keep transitioning and changing up my business. Because as I grow, my business has to grow with me. And I think one of the biggest things is that at the beginning, when I first started, I was like, oh, okay, um, business is easy. I just need to go and like find people and tell them this is the thing and post on social media, and then I'm gonna be like a billionaire. Didn't happen. That did not happen.
What a surprise!
Well, it's what we get sold, and I was like, why is that happening? And then I had a very long time when it was like, it must be me. It must be me. And then I had some clients, well, sorry, potential clients, prospects who said no. Then I was like, it must be me. And every time I would be coming and blaming myself again and again and again. And I was like, well, hang on a minute. At one point I was like, wait, I'm a very intelligent woman. Like, I can't be that bad. There's some people who love me. So what's going on? And I think it was at that point when I realized I had to really sit myself on a Jeanette, like, what are you actually doing? What are you actually selling? Who are you really in this whole thing? And how are you treating your business? And when I realized that actually I am not my business, but the business is just an extension of me, a modality of how I can show up in the world, that released a lot. And then bringing in my own authenticity, go, actually, I know this is the norm or the trends, but this doesn't resonate with me. This does. So let me choose this instead, because I tried this and it's so hard and I'm struggling and I feel like I'm constantly on that hamster wheel chasing my tail. Whereas this one feels really easy and I get it done like this. What? And I think that, and also, that enabled me to make that really, I mean, to this day, it still hurts a little bit, but sad, but like also exciting decision to actually close down the JWC, the Janette Wong community, for a while. I'm sure we'll come back soon at some point. But to close it down whilst I take my time in offering my services and looking for other opportunities and where I can support, where I can help the world, but also shaping my community alongside my coaching. That for me has been like a massive transition. But again, it came with a lot of trial and error, a lot of challenges until I got to the point where I was like, actually, this is Janette Wong. This is Empowering Leap. This is where I'm going. This is where Empowering is going. And then is there space? What else is there space for? And I've got space for this stuff here. Okay, let's look for it. Does JWC still fit in that? Not right now. So, okay, let's drop that, look for the other opportunities, and then we can come and pick it back up later.
Yeah, and it's so important to like not try to mold yourself into something. But I mean, having your own business is basically that you mold it to what you need and what you kind of have the capacity for. So why, and the other thing is also we're told to reach certain things and do certain things, and that's how we grow the business and like doing the trends and all those kind of things. But it's not always what is good for us, and then it feels hard and it feels like an uphill battle. So finding what works for you and what you know, like you said, it's just an extension of yourself, and just finding out that this doesn't work for you and just doing it your way is such a revelation and just makes things so much easier and enjoyable. Because that's the other thing, like you don't want your business that you know started because you wanted to do something for yourself and like do it your way and the way you think is great, and then kind of transform into something that again doesn't feel like you and doesn't feel like it brings you any joy anymore.
Yeah, exactly that. And I think like with everything that we do, there's always an essence, there's an energy that we put into it. And when that energy shifts or your energy shifts and it no longer aligns, trying to force it is like trying to fit a square into a circle. And that's why there is that tension. But when we let go of that tension, we can then take the best bits of every aspect and then mold it into something brand new, which is actually really exciting because by definition, as entrepreneurs and business owners, we love to create.
Yeah.
So, I think one of the other things I learned is don't allow, like you said, the outside world or other people's expectations to force us into this box when what we really thrive in is to create.
Yeah. Yeah, true, definitely. And in terms, I mean, you touched on it already with the self-doubt and the imposter that, when a client says, or a potential client decides to go another direction or not to book, and you're like, oh, it's because of me. How do you, like, what does it make you feel in terms of, like, with your business, and how do you feel you overcome that?
There were so many crying days and nights, honestly. I think the first time I was really badly rejected, and I mean, like that person did take it almost my message like completely to the other point when that's not what I meant. There's a massive misunderstanding. But anyway, I was crying 5 days straight.
Mhm.
Like that was it. I couldn't do anything. And I think the strength in what we have as humans is to be able to pick ourselves back up again. And I think to recognize and to allow ourselves to recognize where we are right now, what we're feeling, and really tap into the I'm not meaning dwell on the emotions, but tap into the emotions to understand and go, what's really going on? What is here? Why am I crying like crazy? Why am I so triggered? And then from there, accepting ourselves as that's what's happened. What can we learn from it? And then how would I like to show up the next time?
Yeah.
And then like literally taking the steps towards how I would like there may be some skills that I need to learn. Maybe there's something that I need to work through and internally. Maybe it's just a conversation with the other person. Whatever it may be, it's like taking the necessary steps to ensure that we're actually always moving in that direction. And then before you know it, you've done it and then you've passed it and you go, was that hard? Was that what happened?
What was all the fuss about? But sometimes it's also, I think, when someone says no, or they're like, it fizzles out and they're ghosting and stuff like that. I find they're either actually not your client, that wasn't meant to be in the first place, or they just weren't ready. Like I've had so
Yeah.
many times where conversations kind of fizzled out, or they said like something changed, and then a year later or 6 months later they came back. I'm actually ready now, and then they booked literally within the span of an hour. So that's the thing. Sometimes it's just not the time, or it's not right, or it's not the right constellation between the two people, and that's fine as well. It also shows you like oh, this is the person I want to work with, and maybe this didn't feel right, and they picked up on it as well, and that's just how it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's so important to like, and that's why I realize it's important to separate ourselves from the business. Like we're not the same identity. So whatever happens is not a personal thing. And like you said, it might just be that they're not ready. Like I've had a lady who's come back to me like a year later. I didn't even know she was following me. And she's like, actually, we met like a year ago and now like I've been following you for a year. And I was like, oh, okay, hi. And it's I'm sure I'm not the only one, and you're not, we are not the only ones who've experienced this. And I think what's really powerful about that is, as long as every step of the way we are authentic to our true selves in this moment in time, we are allowed to shift, we are allowed to change, and it's completely okay, as long as we're not looking back and going, I regret that because I wasn't me.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And that actually brings me very well tied in into the kind of personal branding and like visibility side of things. So being authentic is obviously a big thing. And that word is a bit overused nowadays, I find, but it is what it is. Be real, be you. So how did you find like growing your business or running your business and being like a personal brand, especially when you're, like me, a service-based kind of business? Often we sell ourselves to some kind of extent because people are working with us, and what they, as a coach, coaching is quite personal and can be quite vulnerable. So how did you find showing up as you and marketing yourself and being visible for your business? How did you find that journey?
It was actually really scary at first. And then it almost didn't make sense. Like my brain was like, this doesn't make sense. So I remember being really surprised when one of my most watched reels was me tidying up my bedroom, like my wood. I'm like, why are you watching? What? Apparently those are people who like to watch it. So if you're looking for trends, do that. But like in general, I kind of, it was something that I actually had to learn backwards almost. I went on this journey where I was like, okay, I'm showing up. So showing up for me originally meant like I'm just being on camera, I'm talking. Then I was like, but I'm still reading through scripts.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, no scripts. But then still, it wasn't quite me. And it wasn't through, like, again, I think it's a little bit of trial and error and then a lot of self-awareness to kind of get to the point where it's like, wait, hang on a minute. Like, this really isn't me. Like trying to do all of this mega short form videos is not very me. I talk long form. I can do it, but the amount of information I can give to you is very limited in a very short amount of time. I do much better when it's long form or with its written form. And then so I was like, actually, what does it mean? Like, I mean, I draw the line at like hang out my underwear on my partner. That's where I really draw the line.
Might
It's like, no,
work.
no thanks. Like, yeah, yeah. Well, you know, I'm like, no, we're not going there. That's where I really draw the line. But I think it's kind of like there is a difference between whether you're showing every aspect of your life versus whether you're showing up authentically in your business. It's two very different things. And I had to really understand the nuance of that, because me like drinking water or making my coffee like with my hair like this is not the most attractive. But also, I don't feel good showing up. I feel really bad showing up like that. So then, while sometimes I might wake up like, sometimes, let's be real, I do wake up like that, it's not necessarily like we have to show that element for a business, because we have to link it to the brand. If my brand required me to actually show up like this, you know, just hair everywhere, and then like I'm not even comprehensible, then okay, maybe I would consider doing it. But with something like coaching, like you said, people are looking for transformation. People are looking for clarity. So it doesn't matter exactly what I look like per se, but I need to be comprehensible in my messaging and clear and me when I'm talking.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. And that's such a good point. Like, it depends on what it is you do. Like, there might be, that like a coach for ADHD, they may show up differently than a transformative coach like you, because there's different energies they kind of have, but also they attract. So they're maybe a bit more messy and like unpolished. Um, and like you said as well, it's what you are as well. So why would you show a different front if you're not the person that would usually show up with the messy hair bun and like uh, the relaxed tracksuit or whatever? So why would you do it on social media if that's not you anyway? But if that's you, then why not share that? Because it's part of you and other people might relate to it as well. So definitely,
Exactly.
yeah,
And I think that's the point about like, there's no need to be too deliberate in like molding a personal, like a fake person, almost a personality online. And I think I tried to do that, but it was so hard, because you're basically asking yourself to show up regularly, consistently as someone who you're not.
yeah,
And I find that really challenging. So there are days when I'm like, I was supposed to go live, but I can't, I'm just really not feeling it. And so I'm just going to write something, do a voice note, or, you know, that might be already enough. Because also I think there's really power in, especially when I'm working with high achieving women, knowing where you are with your energy is so important. You forcing yourself to be on camera when you don't really feel like it. And I'm not talking about procrastination. I'm talking about genuine, I'm so tired, or I'm just period or something. I really don't feel like doing it. Then you're not going to be able to give your best. You're not going to be able to give your all anyway. So just understanding where you're at is also part of being authentic to yourself. What's your energy level like on that day? What can you handle? Maybe you're feeling really frantic. So maybe doing a live is not the best way to show up. And I think there's power in not being afraid to say that's not working today, but here's something else.
yeah, definitely. And that's so true. You have to kind of go with the flow, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's something that women don't do, because we've been trained to be super masculine. We go get there, go out there and get it. But actually going with the flow, there's so much power in that as well.
Yeah, definitely. Like finding out what your energy will be like throughout the month, and like, oh, I can plan this because I know I'm in that kind of cycle. part that
Yeah.
has more energy. That really opened up a lot for me when people started talking about, like, you have different energy levels in your cycle as well, and then okay, around this time I probably not much use of it with anything, so maybe not overschedule stuff. But I think to finish the first part off a bit, I have like two small questions. One is, what would you tell starting out Jeanette? Like, give her some kind of like advice to do something different, or maybe exactly do what she's done. So, what is some kind of piece of advice you would give yourself at the starting point?
I love that question. What I would say is, no matter how hard it is, forget about what everyone tells you. Forget about the judgment of anyone else. It's you and you and you. That's it. Like, that's the most important thing that I would love to have been able to have been reminded every single day at the beginning. It's all about how you want to show up. It's your baby. You want to do, you do it however you want to, and don't let anyone else tell you otherwise.
Yeah, that's so true. Like, you do you. No one else does that, right? And the other thing is, what's something you're proud of? Could be something recently, could be something that's been a year ago, something you're really proud of.
So many. I'm thinking,
That's a good thing. There's many.
I know, and I'm like, which one do I want to? Which one should I share? Um, I think for me, the thing that I am the most proud of is, and this is quite generic, but it's like actually staying in the business. Like, over these, I've been in my business 3.5 years now. And honestly, there have been so many times when I've just wanted to quit, and I could have done. But the amount of joy and passion that my purpose brings me, and just knowing I'm sitting on all of this knowledge and not doing anything with it, it's like, I can't do that. I can't do that to myself, and I can't do that with everyone else that, who knows, is waiting for me. So I think that is something that I'm really proud of, is just staying in it no matter what. It might ebb and flow, and it might change form, stance, how I show up, whatever it may do. Is like, and whatever it has done previously, showing up just as me and keep going every step of the way. That's what I'm really proud of.
Oh, that's beautiful. And I don't think it's generic at all. Resilience is definitely underrated, right? It's so hard sometimes when you have those ups and downs. And I mean, I've been doing it almost triple the time you have. Like, I'm almost at 11 years now, and I'm really proud of that I still stuck around, because there have been so many times where, like, oh, should I just pack it all up, leave London, move back to Germany and be miserable there? But it's just so important to stick out with the hard times, and you appreciate the better times even more, because, like, I know how it's been before, and you appreciate it just more.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, even along the way, there's no failure in anything. Like, whether, and especially, I do really want to share this because as business owners, entrepreneurs, we kind of think like, oh, we started this, we made this decision to start it. Either I can't quit now, or I can't get a job. Of course you can.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship is such a massive journey. It's not for everyone, no matter what people say about freedom. And it really depends on how you define freedom and what it means to you. So, like, it might be that it's just not fit for you, and that's fine. Or it might be that actually you need to get a side job alongside, or like another thing, a part-time that goes hand in hand, and you do 50-50. And that's also okay as well. However way, the business is not going anywhere. Your knowledge is not going anywhere. and just allowing yourself to sit within that, and the power of, or even your products, right? Just knowing that it's still there, supporting people, doing good. Doesn't matter the scale.
Yeah.
You're still succeeding. And that's really important for people to remember.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great way to end the part 1. So for everyone else, stick around. There will be a part 2 where I talk about more practical things, that coaching tools that can help you in your day-to-day and in running your business. So talk to you soon.